All right, welcome to our Volusion training. So I want to show you all today how to add and edit products on your Volusion store. And this is geared specifically to those of you who are brand new at using Volusion or brand new to any website editing and design. So if that's you, then you should be listening to this and this should be good. We're not going to cover a ton. We're just going to cover product adding, and I'll walk you through the steps of that right now. So first thing is to get to your site. Whatever your domain name is, your .com, your web address, get there so you're on the main page. And we're looking at one right now. Okay. And once you get to this page, you're usually going to find, generally speaking, towards the bottom of the page, some sort of a link that will take you to where you can log in, as if you're a customer. And in this case, there's a link right here for my account. Now, this may look a little different on your screen. Yours may say log in. It may say account. It may say my account. But it's going to look something like that, and you're gonna click on it. Okay, I'll do that first. Your coach may have sent you some kind of some sort of an account login URL as well. So you may already have a URL that takes you to this page. But this is generally speaking what it looks like. You'll have a login right here, and then you'll go ahead and just log into your account. It'll look like you're a returning customer, but you're really not, right? You're going to log in with your admin email and password. You're going to click the login button, and then that should take you into your administrative account. Some of you guys already know how to do this, but I thought I'd cover it really briefly just to make sure you knew. I click login, and it takes me here. First thing I'm going to look for is this right here. I'm going to make a big red arrow to it and circle it. We're looking for that sort of blue box there at the far right-hand side of the screen. We're going to click on that, and it's going to bring out this little fly-out menu, and it's going to say something like Content Builder has been disabled on this page, potentially, depending on where you're getting to this page at. No matter what it says, you're still going to come up here to where you've got these 3 white dots. You're going to put your mouse over it, and you're going to select Dashboard. Okay. We got to get to the dashboard of our software before we can start considering adding any inventory. Now, before I talk too much about adding a product, the main question I always get from clients who are just barely starting with adding products is, well, can I add my products in bulk? You know, can I maybe import all of my products from my supplier in very quickly? Is there a shortcut here to getting, you know, hundreds, if not thousands of products onto a Volusion website? And the answer is that there is, but I'm not going to recommend it. And I won't go into a lot of detail on that right now. I've got another training that I can show you if you're wanting to do that, or you want to know the pros and cons of trying to do it. Suffice it to say, right now, when you first get your website and you're first starting it, you got to learn it. You got to learn the basics first. You got to go one at a time, individual product after individual product, adding it. And it's not bad. It may seem a little slow at first, but it's not bad. Most of us who've used Volusion for a long time, we can add a product in, you know, 2 or 3 minutes a piece. And that means you're doing whatever, 20, 25, 30 an hour. Like that is a doable amount of products if you sit down and work at this. So most of you guys, we're not going to recommend to have you manage hundreds or thousands of products right off the cuff. That's crazy. You're just getting your site started. So let's set a goal, and this should be your goal. Try to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 100, maybe up to 150 products added onto your site, and then launch it from there. And then we can think about really bulking up the inventory in the future. But let's keep it simple. Let's add simple products and show you how to do it, and that's what we're going to do today. So here on your dashboard, you're going to look for inventory. Okay, I just rolled my mouse over inventory, and then you're going to look for products, which is listed right here. I'll go ahead and select that. And what will happen is it'll take you to your product inventory on your site. It'll look a bit like this. Now, these are just some test products that are sitting here. But you'll see sort of a window gallery of your products listed. You may not have anything here, or if you've already had some of the design work done for you, you may have a bunch of products that were added, you know, to the site by some developers. If you want to change this view and see it more as a list, which some people prefer, come up here and click on this icon. I just put a red square around it, and I'm now going to click on it, and it'll change this current view into what we call more of a list view, which lists it like this. And maybe you guys would prefer to see it this way. It's just a matter of preference. They function a little bit differently, but regardless, it's nice to see a list of products on your site, and this is how to do it very quickly. Okay, so let me show you first how to add a product. Okay. Well, I guess even before I should tell you how to do that. If you wanted to edit one of these sample products that are listed, just click on the blue product code right here that I'm underlining for whichever product, and that will take you into where you can edit it. Okay. All right, but let's start by doing a new product. So I'm gonna just find the add button, which you're gonna see right here, and we're gonna start by adding a new product by clicking that button. Okay. Once I click that, it's going to bring up a very simple form. And I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so maybe you guys can see this just a little bit better. There you go. It's going to ask you for some basic info. Okay, anything that has the red asterisk next to it, which you can see right there next to these several items, those are what we call required fields, meaning you have to have something in that box in order for the product to save on Volusion. Okay, at a minimum, those 4 boxes have to have something. You have to have a name, you have to have a code, you have to have a price, and you have to have a weight. Now, most products you need a few more things, but those in Volusion are the minimums. We'll show you the other necessary things as we go through here. Okay, so you'll need something here in the name. I'm going to just do an example with you today. I'm going to pretend for just a minute that my supplier is Amazon.com, and we're going to add a hiking backpack to your site today, and I'm just going to sort of choose something at random. This hiking backpack is what we're going to use, and so what I do is I simply just sort of highlight the title of the product and copy it, and then I go back to the website here and I paste it. Okay, now you could type it out yourself manually, but I feel like copy and paste is a little easier, so I copy the product name. Where it asks me for a code, this is what I tend to do. I start with a prefix of some sort, AMZ. In this case, that prefix is for Amazon. That's to tell me as the seller where my item is coming from, especially if I have multiple suppliers. If I have an Amazon supplier and a wholesale drop shipper, and maybe I'm using Walmart and Target, I'm going to want to have different prefixes that I put in here in the code so that when this item sells, I know exactly which warehouse or which supplier it came from. So you use whatever code you want. It doesn't really matter. But the rule with making a code is you put it in there, and then I like to separate it with a dash. I put a dash in, and then make up some number. Okay, what does this part mean? Well, this doesn't mean really anything at all. That's just to give it some sort of a code. Customers won't really be looking at this anyway, but it's more of an internal thing that I use to figure out where the item has come from. Now, if your supplier has some sort of an item code, you could use that and put it there, but make sure you have some sort of a prefix like this AMZ. That makes it easier. Okay, no spaces. It can be uppercase or lowercase if you want. Can't have any spaces. You're not allowed to do 2 dashes, so if you are going to do the dash approach, do 1. You don't even necessarily need a dash. You could just leave it AMZ and then the number. That's fine. Okay, we're going to put in a price here, and our webinar today isn't going to be so much about choosing optimal prices. I can get this for $205. I'm going to sell it for $259.99. We have other trainings that can teach you price strategy, but for now, I'm just going to put that in. Notice that I didn't put a $sign in there. So you don't do that. That makes it to where it doesn't work. You need to have no symbols at all. Just put in $259.99 in that case. For the weight field, weight is very simple. You just need to have something there. Customers actually do not see what you put here. This is for internal things. If you don't know how much your product weighs, just put in a placeholder of 1, and that's good enough. Okay? All right. The next field below that, this is the description section. This is for your product description, and this is a great opportunity for you to practice your copy and paste. I'm going to come over here, highlight my product description from Amazon, right-click on top of it, and copy. And then I'm going to go back to my Volusion. And I prefer if you guys do it this way. I would like to see you click on the HTML button first. This, I just circled it. That's called the HTML button. If you click on it once, it sort of highlights it gray, puts it in a gray box, and then I paste in my description from Amazon right there. Okay, just copy paste. And then I click on the HTML button again, and that saves it. What this does, just so you understand why I'm telling you to do it this way, is it removes any of the formatting, the bad HTML code or bad code that will come over from Amazon when you copy and paste, or from your supplier. See, the problem with copy and paste on the internet is it brings over some of the formatting. It just doesn't take the text alone. It takes the style of the text and the size, and if there's any background color, and it codes it into your site. And you don't want that extra code. You simply want the raw text. So what you're going to do is just what I showed you. You click on the HTML button, you paste it in, you click on it again, and you're good, and it removes out all that raw formatting. Okay? We'll go back and touch up these descriptions later. Scroll down, you're going to want to select a category. Okay, so we're going to click select categories here. And you want to put it in the appropriate category. I'm assuming you may have seen a training on how to add and edit categories prior to seeing this. If you haven't, look at what category options you have and go ahead and apply it into one of those. If you don't apply it to the correct category, it won't show up on your site. But don't worry, all is not lost. You can always go back to your inventory and then products and find your product there and assign it to a different category in the future. You can assign it to multiple categories if you want. You're going to skip over options for now. Options would be like, hey, if this came in large, medium, and small, and it had 4 or 5 colors as well. I would prefer you guys don't use options at the beginning. Keep it very simple, add very basic products, and then we can get into more of the advanced product creation later. The last thing that you really need to do is you'll see a spot here called image management. I'm going to click on that, and you'll see it'll open up a spot where I can add an image. Well, first, before I add an image, I need to download a picture of this product. Okay, so I'm going to put my mouse over this, and I'm going to right-click on top of it and select Save Image As, and make sure I save a copy of it to my computer, which I just did. Okay, you don't copy and paste images over to Volusion. You download them to your computer, and you upload the file to Volusion. That's an important distinction. So I've done that. I've downloaded the picture, and then I'm just going to come back over here to my Volusion, and I'm going to click this Add button under Image Management. I'm going to get a little pop-up window that'll show up. Well, hopefully it'll show up. It's spinning here for just a second. If that ever happens to you, that's fine. Just give it a sec. It'll think and do it, which it just did. I'm going to click on Choose File, and I'm going to select the image I want added in, and I'm going to click Upload. Okay, once I click Upload, it's going to load this thing in there, and you'll see kind of a smaller version of it show up right here. You can actually add multiple images. I could do more. Here's another box for me to add another one, 2 or 3, but in a lot of cases when I'm doing basic product adding, I'm just adding one at a time. So once that's done, I hit Save, and my product will have been added. At that point, it'll spin for a sec, it'll load it in, and then boom, it's done. Okay, you can be sure that it's done because I can come over and click this button here, View Live, and I can kind of see what it looks like when I added this thing to my site. And it's going to look really nice. The nice thing about Volusion is it formats it really nicely, so it comes in looking all professional. You've got the picture, you've got the product title, you've got your price, and you've got your description down here. Everything seems to look good, so that looks great. I placed this product in the products category, and so it shows up right here. And if I click on that, it takes me into the product page, so it was done correctly. So product adding, guys, that was an example right there. I'm telling you, it is very, very simple to do at its most basic level. There's some pretty cool advanced stuff you can do when you're doing product adding on Volusion, but today's training is just to show you the basics, okay? So I think that's probably enough. I want you to go ahead and try this on your own. If you get stuck on product adding, don't get frustrated. I mean, this is probably the first time you guys are ever using a system like this, at least probably the first time you're using Volusion, so be patient with yourself. Contact your coach if you have questions. We'd love to help. Or call our staff at 877-867-8239 and get an available coach who's on call to give you a hand. They're pretty much available most days except for most Saturdays and Sundays. You won't be able to catch a coach live from that phone number. But regardless, like, we're happy to help you. We don't expect this training to show you everything, but I think I've showed you enough today that you should be able to log into your account and then find where to be to add a product, and then go through the basic steps and add it. And likely you won't be perfect at it. And certainly, I told you earlier that you could probably do 25 or 30 in an hour. That may not be true when you first start. You might be able to do 1 or 2 in an hour, but over time you'll get a lot faster, and our clients always do. Okay. So again, hopefully that was helpful to you. We're always glad to teach and show you how to do this. Good luck working on your new site, and get adding products. Thanks for being here.